Hi, and welcome to this episode of our market update series here on RVC TV, where we talk to international experts to provide RVC sellers like you with valuable insights and tips that you can use to drive your international sales. Very lucky today. Our guest today is Donna Campbell, Managing Director of Australia, who's going to talk to us about the Australian market. Welcome, Donna. Great to see you.
Hi, Will. Nice to see you too.
I'm going to dive right into it. Donna, can you tell us what are three things that RVC sellers need to know about your market?
First of all, Australia is, the travelers from Australia are one of the highest spenders of any traveler that comes to Canada. Currently, they spend about 800 million in Canada when they come. The Australian traveler also stays a lot longer than the average traveler. You will find that the Australians tend to stay for at least 3 weeks. And you'll even find them staying for like doing two back-to-back trips. So they may do a 3-week trip, a 21-day trip, and then they'll do another 10-day trip. So the Australians are the consummate intrepid traveler. And the other thing that I really like about the Australian market is that they don't just stay in one area. Of course, they come to the West and they've traditionally gone to BC and Alberta, but they will travel all across the country and they'll travel in all seasons. So they're not just a summer traveler, they come in the wintertime as well.
Okay, so the intrepid travelers. So after talking to tour operators, what's the difference in the tour operator's mind between a good and a bad appointment at RVC?
All appointments are good at RVC. Will, you know that. Basically, what they're looking for is they want relevant new product, and the keyword there is relevant. So the tour operator knows their customer. They know what their customer wants to buy. They know what sells in other markets. So they're looking for that relevant new product, something that's going to give them the edge over anybody else. Also, it's really important that our Canadian sellers are internationally ready to be working in the international markets. It's a key thing. They need to be, they have to have all their appropriate licenses. They have to understand commission structures. They work with receptive tour operators. So be internationally ready. And at Destination Canada, we prepare an awful lot of research. And Global Tourism Watch is one of those pieces of information that is just a wealth of information. And I really want everybody to read as much as they can about the market, become very familiar with the market. And that will make the appointments just all that much better.
So you're bringing quite a large delegation to RVC this year. You always do. Australia is such a powerful market for Canada. Can you tell me about some of the companies that are coming and what their business objectives might be?
Yeah, we've got 12 coming this year. We've got group and FIT operators coming from Australia. And yeah, we've all, the Canadians and the Australians get along so well, and there's a real interest to travel between the two countries. One of the things that I also want to make a point of is that those international companies like Globus, Insight, Trafalgar, those buyers may be coming up from the USA, but those companies are very alive and very successful here in Australia as well. So when you're talking to those buyers from those companies, don't forget that they're also buying for the Australian market as well.
Right.
So what they're looking for is they're looking for that new product. They're looking for that product that's going to entice the customer to want to buy with them. They're looking for an edge. They're looking for a value proposition. We can't forget that we're in a business, a finance business, and the tour operators are looking for something that's going to give them an edge over anybody else. They know that price sells, and the other thing that I wanted to say is that it's not just about a low price. If they feel that the consumer feels that there's a value proposition with what they're getting, they will spend the money. I mean, it's not uncommon for an Australian traveler to spend $12,000 to $15,000 per person for a 21-day tour. So as long as there is a value proposition, so they will often be asking or looking for a value proposition or an edge or something that gives them an advantage over the very competitive market that we're all working in as well. And I think it's really important also to understand the current trends that are we're all experiencing in Australia. Right. We're finding that FIT travel or independent travel is really taking off in the market here. And that doesn't mean that group travel isn't taking off. Group travel is doing just fine. You're finding that they even are adapting and putting FIT or independent elements in the group travel. OTAs are getting stronger and stronger in the market. That's the online travel agents, and you're finding that they're coming up with more dynamic packaging, so it's not just an air ticket and a hotel anymore, that they're trying to be more inclusive of the destinational elements as well. So you're seeing that that's really starting to transpire here in the market. And we know that the customer really wants to explore the destination. They no longer want to just stand in front of Niagara Falls and take a picture of themselves and go, hey, guess what, I'm here.
Right.
They really want to immerse themselves in the destination. And so we're seeing a lot more of that as well. So, yeah.
That sounds pretty similar to a lot of some of our Western markets, but definitely some nuances that you need to be aware of if you really want to hit it out of the park. In a market like Australia. I think the value proposition message is something that definitely is going to resonate with the Canadian product on offer at RBC. So speaking of that, what experiences are tour operators in your market particularly interested in buying? And are there new parts of our country that they're looking to explore?
Most definitely will. As I said earlier, they're wanting an experience, and I think the big word is experience, and that might be, you know, going and staying in a bed and breakfast and meeting the locals. They want to understand the destination as well. They may want to go to a restaurant or a pub or a winery and meet the winemaker. So they really want to have experiences and delve much more into the destination when they are in Canada. And as I said earlier, interacting with the locals is a really big element. We're finding more and more. They want to know where I go to when I go out for my restaurant experience, you know, my date night. Where do I go?
I do too.
You want to know too. You know, it's that unique, it's that authentic product that, you know, they're curious. They want to know more about what it is that we love so much about Canada, and they want us to share that with them. So they're also traveling further afield. We know that the Australians are traveling up to the north. They're wanting winter experiences. They are traveling to Ontario and Quebec, and then we're finding that they're going across into the Atlantic provinces as well. So we know that those Australians are looking for those experiences. And we do an awful lot of work in our media programs as well to create awareness for all of these new and interesting places in Canada. And then the tour operators, we're hoping, come in behind that, and they're picking up that product. So when the consumer walks into that retail travel agent and goes, hey, I saw that great new story on Newfoundland. Can you tell me a bit more about where I can get it? And those agents actually, we're hoping will have that product on the new and interesting places in Canada. And of course, you know, the one thing that really sells really well here is cruise. And that's everything from the big cruise ships to the smaller cruising experiences. The per capita, the highest number of cruisers anywhere in the world comes out of Australia per capita. So they just, you know, put a ship in front of them and they're going, okay, how do I get on it? So we know that Australians love to get on a ship and go and have an experience.
Well, it's nice to see such a broad interest from such a strong market. I think that will really resonate with a lot of partners and marketers and businesses across the country, that they're not necessarily too far away from their interests that we're seeing in Australia. So one final question, Donna, before we wrap it up. What advice do you have for RVC sellers wanting to get more results out of their trade relationships?
I think the biggest thing, as I said earlier, was understanding the Global Tourism Watch research and really knowing what it is that is the Australians looking for. And the thing is that years ago, the trends wouldn't change that much, but they're changing an awful lot now. How tourism is sold in the market is changing quite rapidly as well. So you really have to understand the distribution chain and the role that everybody plays, the role that the retail travel agent plays, the role that the tour operator plays, the role that the receptive tour operator plays. Right. And in Australia, the consumer, 80% of them are still utilizing the retail travel agent. So that bricks and mortar, they're walking into a shop to get information. They'll do all of their research online, but they will actually go into the retail travel agent to get that information. So I really encourage the Canadians to understand how travel is sold in Australia. Also, the names of the tour operators are given to all of the Canadians well in advance. So delve into the companies, understand who the company is, who they're selling to, how they're selling, what kinds of things do they sell in other destinations, so that you can marry up relevant product for that tour operator and make the appointment really valid for yourself. Knowing the market, as I said earlier, and also the last point I was going to make was working with receptive tour operators. If it makes sense for you, work with a receptive tour operator. These guys are in the market. They are highly utilized by the tour operators here in Australia. So yeah, and the other thing that I just wanted to say as well is that when the four-season product sells really, really well in this market as well, and ski winter product sells really well in this market as well. So non-ski winter, white Christmas, of course, at Christmas time we are dangling our toes in the pool, or we're going for a swim in the ocean. So to have that unique experience of a white Christmas is something that Australians are really keen on doing. Don't forget about
Counterintuitive to a lot of us Canadians who are trying to escape the cold sometimes. Australians are trying to escape the heat, almost, it sounds like.
and we most definitely are. We most definitely are.
Well,
Yeah. So,
Donna, thank you so much for this walkabout. I'll borrow an Australian term through all the market do's and don'ts. It's going to be fabulous to see you at RVC. Very strong delegation. So that's all the time we have for our show today. For our viewers, if you want more information on the Australian market, you can get that at canada.travel/corporate. That's Destination Canada's corporate website. And don't forget to check the RVC website itself for more RVC TV episodes and other valuable content for RVC sellers. Thanks so much, and remember to keep exploring, everybody.